Hello and greetings, everyone. We hope this weekend finds you well. And welcome to Wichita, the city we call home. And we love it here. It's so special and so wonderful. But it's also a city filled with horrors. You see, in the darkest moonlit hours of midnight, there is a man of mystery seen walking the alleys. Some say he's a private eye working on a secret case. Other people say he's a mysterious chef named King X. All we know is that he wears a trench coat and carries a black umbrella. He's sometimes seen dashing under streetlights or climbing the ladder of a fire escape. He's known only as the Phantom of Old Town. And this weekend, we're opening up the file cabinets and attempting to crack this case once and for all. Now, set back, get your popcorn ready, and prepare to enter a world beyond anything you have ever dreamed. Hello, and welcome to wonderful Wichita, Kansas, the largest and most beautiful city in the region. And today we'll be visiting a neighborhood called Old Town. It's called that because it's full of old buildings, dating back to the early 1900s that used to be factories and warehouses, but now have been renovated into fun places like ice cream shops, movie theaters, and even a video game arcade. But as exciting as that sounds, it's also a little bit scary here because people say that Old Town is haunted. For instance, there is the ghost at Eaton Place, an office tower at Douglas and St. Francis, which is the lurking place of the Blue Handkerchief Ghost, a romantic and mysterious spirit that made its mark in the 1970s and 80s by spry acts such as leaving fresh roses on people's desks, and also locking doors behind people, taking telephones off the hook, and even trapping people in elevators or stairwells. Some believe this ghost is actually a dark criminal like Jack the Ripper. Just a few blocks west of First and Broadway is the Orpheum, a glorious Art Deco-style movie theater, celebrating its 100-year anniversary right now. I used to go here for monster movie weekends that played double features like Dracula and Frankenstein. A large popcorn and drink was $5. Can you believe that? Well, the staff at Orpheum Theater say it's haunted, and in fact, the Wichita Paranormal Research Society have regular guided tours for the public. And also Halloween and Christmas events, searching for the ghost, which is said to be the spirit of a lonesome actor, often seen running the projector reel when no one's there, and then running down hallways into a secret chamber. This actually isn't as crazy as it sounds, because beneath the Orpheum is a network of 100-year-old tunnels leading all over Old Town. You see, during the era of Prohibition, aristocrat Wichitans would exit their theater seats on a Saturday night and go directly through hidden doors to a secret catacomb that would lead them to their favorite speakeasy. In the 1930s and 40s, a swanky nightclub called the Shadowland Dance Hall, also located on Broadway Street, was popular with underworld types. And in 1932, it featured the very first performance of an electric guitar, a major turning point in the story of rock and roll. Another contributor to pop culture, once located a block west across the street from the Orpheum, was King's X Diner, famous for its hamburgers with sautéed onions, which you may know today as White Castle, the original fast food hamburger. The burger was invented by a cook named King X who had his own diner. But sadly, the last King's X location in Wichita closed in 2012. But the legacy lives on. The heavy metal band King's X, who played early shows at Wichita, were such loyal customers of the diner that they named themselves after it. And the original King's X burger recipe is still served today at a place opened by King X's son, Jimmy. And if you go to Jimmy's Diner on Rock Road, they have the Blue Plate special of hamburger and fries for just $4.99. 2 blocks south of King's X and the Orpheum is another haunted place, the Wichita Historical Museum, also known as the Wichita Castle. Constructed in 1890, the castle originally served as the city building, but now is a mysterious museum with dark staircases, stained glass windows, and peering portraits in the parlor. And according to local TV and newspaper reports, a ghost is also there. And this ghost likes to rush up behind people and scare them. And this weekend, we will be investigating the haunted castle of Wichita. But here's the funny part. Julianna has no idea. She thinks we're going shopping for lamps. She has no clue that we'll be staying tonight at the Hotel at Old Town, a prestigious centerpiece of Wichita located at First and Mosley. She also doesn't know that this very old brick road district we're visiting is the realm and stomping ground of the Phantom at Old Town. A dark figure in the night wearing a top hat and black cape, running down alleys and through parking garages. Some theorize this mysterious person could be an actor from the Mosley Street Melodrama Dinner Theater located perpendicular across the street from the Old Town Hotel. And some wonder if it could actually be none other than Wichita's most famous thespian, the star of the silver screen known as Charlie Chan. Sidney Toller was born in 1874 to a wealthy Wichita family who owned stables and bred competitive show horses. And originally, Sidney's father had enrolled him at the University of Kansas School of Business. But instead of fulfilling this role, 17-year-old Sidney ran away to Kansas City and joined an acting troupe called the Main Street Melodrama. Sidney spent his young life traveling the country, performing in live shows, even on Broadway in New York City, until eventually he made his way back home to Wichita to perform on the stage, only to learn that his estranged father, Colonel Hooper Toller, had passed away in 1899. In 1929, Sidney Toller rose to fame starring in the box office hit movie Madam X, followed by other detective roles in films like Radio Patrol, $1 Million Murder, and Operator 13. But Sidney Toller's defining role as an actor came in 1938 when he was cast to play Charlie Chan, the famous Asian American detective known for his patient style of sleuthing his way through cat and mouse cases, and also known for his witty one-liners and fun riddles. During the World War II era, Toller made 22 films as the heroic gumshoe. But sadly, what his millions of fans didn't know is that these great performances were informed by the backdrop of his own personal tragedy of never having reconciled with his family before their passing. This great regret that he lived with was soothed later in life when Toller was able to marry his first teenage girlfriend, who was now a widower, shortly before his own death in 1947. Sidney Toller was buried at the old Highland Cemetery near Old Town in Wichita, and some wonder if the mysterious-looking man seen running through parking garages and riding up elevators could be someone influenced by Charlie Chan movies. Or maybe even a detective whose favorite movie serial is the Charlie Chan Case Files. Well, this weekend we'll be on the scene and searching for clues that may solve the haunting of Old Town. All right, we're in downtown Wichita. Yes, we're getting ready for a great weekend here. All right, you ready to explore? Let's go.
Where are we headed?
Let's walk this way. This is a part of the city called Old Town. Oh, how wonderful it is to be in Old Town this Saturday afternoon. Even the birds are singing, and there's barely a cloud in the sky. By the way, if you see those scooters on the sidewalk, those are available to the public for them to ride around town. How fun! This building is an old telegraph center. Very old buildings. 100-year-old buildings have been turned into offices, lofts, also shops and boutiques. The neighborhood of Old Town is distinguished by the red brick streets. The Wichita gift shop called Ubiquity's Home. Interesting place. My goodness, interesting vines and flowers everywhere. Oh, I love this wagon this year.
It's so cool. It makes this alley feel like a secret garden back here.
It is kind of a secret area back here. An emporium of wonders.
And a bridge for a tiny elf.
This is called the Grant Billingsley Warehouse. An old building that was constructed in 1923. Now has many wonderful things inside.
I see an arcade sign. Oh, that looks so cool.
Hey, maybe we should hit the arcade later.
Just like the sign.
Wow.
Oh, what?
Pac-Man sign.
So cool.
Why don't we check this place out? Now, right down this alley on Rock Island is a little door with steps you can go down that will lead you to a place called Publix at the Brickyard, famous for blues, brews, and barbecues. It's a relaxed lunchroom and bar on the inside, and out on the patio, live bands play on evenings and weekends. Come, have a look. Today we are having the brunch menu. Oh wow. Chef's Benedict, my goodness.
What about the pork and pickle?
There's something on the menu called pork and pickle.
Yeah.
What crazy person came up with that? Oh my goodness. How can I say no to the breakfast burger? They have a pizza kit you can take home, or frozen pizza. Can Grow Hydro Farms Yum Yum. Whatever that is. Awesome. Good gracious, look at that dog. We had a puppy joining us this morning. Our puppy said, I'm coming too. Throw me a couple of French toast sticks. The puppy that was hanging out next to us sure enjoyed it. So apparently dogs welcome. We have a lot to explore today. Of course, we are heading to the Haunted Museum, just a few blocks to the west. And along the way, we may do some exploring. This is a very haunted district. A lot of ghost stories here, and we're on the scene. We're definitely going to be investigating, but so I think we're going to have a very sunny day. That's the other good news. It's bright and sunny, so we're definitely going to get to the bottom of some ghost mysteries today too. We're kind of in a 6-city block area here called Old Town. Lots of ghost stories here. And do a big weekend of investigating. Oh wow, we are talking Gourmet Burger City here. Wow, and we got the same thing because it just jumped off the page, so we had to order this. And I did get my side of biscuit and gravy. So wow, yes! Oh, I'm so happy about this hamburger, breakfast burger. I love this. I'm not kidding this time. I really love this. That's good. By the way, this is actually not our first visit to Publix. We came here on New Year's Eve a couple years back, and we had a nice candlelit dinner on the inside towards the back. It really was quite nice. And they also had a jazz trio playing inside that night with a stand-up bass. And if you're thinking of going to Publix, we recommend it. Absolutely, 5 stars, and don't miss the dessert list. right, we better continue exploring. You can almost imagine an old ghost carriage coming down these brick roads at night. Like something from Sleepy Hollow. An old ghost carriage with horses and a buggy, a black buggy with a skeleton driving. What do you think?
Well, Julianna thinks I'm insane, and she said as much without even saying so, but just by staring at the brick wall, I got the message. What she doesn't yet know is that there's the phantom of Old Town, a mysterious man in a trench coat who leaps from rooftop to rooftop during the night. Sometimes seen with a top hat gang. By the way, that's the Larkspur Bistro down the street there. An excellent spot for casual dining. We went there on our anniversary not long ago. It was simply smashing. Have a glass of wine with lunch. Why not?
So sweet.
And let's explore down this way. My, what an unusual piece of art.
As we continue exploring, we find ourselves at First and Mosley, right in the center of Old Town. And that's Heroes behind us there, a very popular sports pub. We almost thought about going in there one evening for taco night, but the music was so loud, we couldn't stay. Somebody complimented Julianna's outfit as we walked by.
Oh, thank you.
And also down these alleys are places with rooftop seating like Industry Nightclub, Revolution Lounge, and also a German restaurant called Prost, with rows of bench seating. And it describes itself as an urban beer garden.
There's an interesting storyboard over here about the Rock Island Depot. It used to be on the street. Right here they had the old-timey railroad from 1887 to 1974. The Rock Island Express.
Rock Island Street in Old Town is of course named for the Rock Island Railroad, a line which ran from Chicago to Wichita to Dallas and ended operations in 1980.
Here's some old-time buggies. Here we have one of the old-time buggies. Coleman Quick Light. Right downtown here was a chili company.
Look at how proud that man is. He thinks he invented chili.
Now it's called Old Town Marketplace. They have the Larkspur Restaurant and Grill. We've been there. And the very famous hotel at Old Town.
Now remember, Julianna still doesn't know we're staying as guests at the hotel at Old Town tonight.
By the way, this whole thing was so that this guy could have his picture on it. That's why this whole thing was. And right downtown here was the Keen Cutter Cutlery and Tools factory. And if you turn around, you can see the building right there. See, it says Keen Cutter
Right under that clock.
on the top. And right over here is the Museum of World Treasures. We've been there before. In fact, we solved a great mystery there.
Carmen San Diego, I believe.
We went there and solved a great mystery.
Cool hotel sign.
Yes, Julianna noticed the sign on the large building across the street that says Keen Cutter Factory. But what she doesn't fully realize is this building is now a fine hotel. And furthermore, she doesn't know that I secretly packed our bags in the trunk and checked us into a room with a view.
Look at that train just flying over the town. Wow.
And this is where you parked when you told me you were going to go get hair supplies.
Ow.
We went to the one train.
You have a good memory, bud.
Will you just look at this marvelous parking garage over here. Juliana and I love the architecture of Old Town because of the Art Deco theme from the 1920s and 30s, which is one of our favorites.
Right, here's Publix here. We were just here. And then we walked over to Rock Island Street. We saw the old people. Now we better start exploring this lovely hotel of Old Town. And right now we're over by the pump house area. So we have a lot of work to do over here too. By the way, if you see anything on the map that you'd like to visit, you certainly can. We have the whole weekend, so we can go anywhere you like.
The first thing Juliana said this afternoon was, "Find me a Starbucks." No, I'm just kidding. But there is actually a Starbucks on Douglas, very convenient, and also a Scooter's Coffee at 2nd and Washington if you need some Java.
Well, what do you think?
We better keep moving.
All right. Yes, we have a lot of investigating to do right through here.
Now at 2nd and Mead here, you will find Old Town Marketplace, which is kind of the city square for this older neighborhood. And let me tell you, we love the shops you will find here. First of all, there's Yo Bee's frozen yogurt, where you can go right up to the mixing machines and pick out your favorite flavor. Then there's Lucinda's Gifts and Fashions, a boutique with Wichita-themed items and collectibles. And if you like Japanese food, don't miss the Hana Cafe. And if you do end up there, I recommend the miso soup or the tofu and sticky rice bibimbap. There you can see behind us the Regal Theater at Old Town. We've seen many movies here, including Batman, Mission Impossible. It does make you wonder if the Phantom of Old Town could show up there.
The Old Town Theater.
It seems like somewhere he'd like to hang out. Maybe he'd be hiding behind a movie curtain or sashaying around up in the balcony area. By the way, that's the theater grill right next to it there too. Hot dogs, nachos, ice cream. And they'll bring it right up to the balcony. There's a little computer screen on the back of your seats and they'll bring it right to you.
Yes. Oh, he made it! Hey, you veered off to the side.
Well, you go first.
Okay.
Oh, movie theater.
Yep. Very Art Deco.
Also have Panat's Palette, which is a wine tasting.
And in the corner over there, you can see, just tucked away a little bit, is a wine tasting gallery called Pinot's Palette. And that would be something fun to do, but when we started walking over in that direction, we saw something else that captured our imagination. A building with a pyramid on the front of it. How intriguing and exciting. It's a place called City Arts. And who knows what lies within, beyond these doors.
And is there an elevator that goes
Yes, there's stairs and an elevator at the back to your right.
up? Wonderful, wonderful. So we should just start going this way.
Yeah, you one, so you might want to hallway is one, we're on the second floor is another space, gallery,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Some of this modern art just leaves me puzzled with a big question mark floating in a word balloon above me. But Julianna loved it, especially the wild colors and crazy designs. I must say, this does seem like a place the Phantom would like to hang out. Or maybe an eccentric man of mystery in a black hat and dark sunglasses. Now it's time for me to get to work on solving the mysteries of this building, chasing any secret agents that may be here. It's kind of like the 1980 spy movie, Cloak and Dagger.
And I think we have an elevator here, so we can operate it.
One of my favorite video games growing up was Elevator Action, the arcade game from 1984. It's the story of Agent 17, a spy infiltrating a 30-story building filled with elevators and enemy agents.
Try out the second level here. What do you think of the artwork so far? If you love bright colors.
Good use of colors there. Enjoying all of the colors.
You like neon colors.
Yes.
It's something special.
It is.
Now, if the investigation continues this way. Oh, wow.
A vending machine?
Oh, look at this.
Let's see it. Wow. Nice.
Beautiful ceramics.
I was really glad to get this overview of the entire building here for monitoring and surveillance purposes. It's like looking down at an overhead map for The Legend of Zelda, or some other game filled with mazes and secret rooms.
Little houses, wow. It's a little house for an elf to live in. Let's investigate in here.
Ah, now we are getting somewhere. Will you just look at this conference room? A perfect place for a dark detective to sneak through, I would say. And maybe that's who we're after right now. Some sort of top secret agent. And this could possibly be one of his clandestine areas for carrying a briefcase through or sneaking around new microchip technology. By the way, we love this wall art in here. Especially the crop circle photo. How unusual. Also the pyramid design on the wall. I like that. You know, we're thinking about taking some classes here. Pottery would be fun, or maybe some watercolor classes. I would enjoy that. But right now, we must continue searching the various levels of this secretive building. Down hallways and corridors like this is exactly where the Phantom of Old Town would be leaving clues. Ah, I wish we had brought a magnifying glass to use.
And our detective case continues on the third level. Let's take the elevating machine upwards. We have a map here that this may help too. Let's continue. And we'll activate the third level here. This is where they're making pottery here. And I think this is the workshop. Glass blowing. Oh, wow. This is how they make neon signs. Things like that. They use kilns
Or actually, they use like blow torches to get very hot.
So it's gotta be
It's
outside.
glass in the shape. Yep. Very bright and colorful items. I like this piece of artwork here.
Yeah.
This is masterwork. Look at this. This is my favorite thing that we've seen so far. Decorative shovels. You don't see that every day. Yeah, I don't know about this whole exhibit with scary shovels, quote unquote. I think I'd better stick with just regular paintings, if you don't mind. Yes, this is like a secondary version of it. Obviously the same artist. What a master artist. Oh, look at this crazy pencil. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, what an exploration this was. We learned so much and saw so many things. Well, I do like the bright red painting down here, but to me the purple pictures upstairs, that was something special. And I think this may be a gift shop over here. Now before we exit though, we must stop at the City Arts gift shop. Sometimes that's where you will see the best art of the day. Let's have a look.
You can buy some of your artist's work here.
Oh, I really like these.
Well, I must say, we absolutely love it here. And what is amazing about City Arts in Wichita is that it doesn't just show art to people. It teaches, it inspires, and it invites you to get involved.
Is this old Chicago?
Yep, old Chicago. This is where gangsters go.
By the way, Old Chicago is one of our favorite hangouts. We especially love the deep dish Chicago-style pizza. My goodness, it's almost like a pie made out of spaghetti. You really must try it. Another feature on the Old Chicago menu is the build your own pizza option, where they list all the toppings and cheeses for you, and you can build your own. And I remember this one night, and I will tell this story on Julianna, I decided to experiment with the ingredients and build a customized pizza. Well, anyway, when it came out, Julianna said it was the worst pizza in the history of the world. She said this pizza is a joke. And I mean, she really read me the riot act. Speaking of pizza, we were absolutely enchanted to see that some bums left pizza boxes in front of the hotel. This aggravated Julianna to no end.
That's a lovely evening here.
Because she's such a neat and tidy person that she hates seeing messes like this. When she thinks about messy people, she wants to hit them with a rolled-up magazine. Well, maybe after we solve this case, we can begin a new one of searching for the crumbs who left these pizza boxes on the street. I'll issue them an advance warning. Start running. Because hell hath no fury like what's about to happen to you. By the way, you're looking at the hotel at Old Town, which is one of the most relaxing and wonderful places you can spend a weekend. Look at this inner courtyard. It's almost reminiscent of the Globe Theatre at Stratford-upon-Avon in England. You could easily imagine a scene from Romeo and Juliet here. or something from the time of Shakespeare. And I just told Julianna the good news that we will be spending the weekend here. And we have a perfect vantage of the downtown area. Great big windows.
Are you serious?
By the way, if you check our library of back episodes, we actually visited the Museum of World Treasures, trying to find Carmen Sandiego. But instead, we found out the real criminal lives in the gift shop.
This is the king-size suite,
Oh my
and
gosh.
I understand that we have a nice view of the city from here too. We have a view of Old Town. Right across the street, we have the Museum of World Treasures. And we have a great view of the city. Yes, I like how bright and sunny this room
I
is.
can't believe that we get to stay in a room right here.
Oh yeah, we'll be able to keep track of the city from here.
Well, now our day continues as we get ready to go exploring Old Town. It's hard to believe this old building we're standing in used to be a giant factory that made scissors. It's almost inconceivable trying to visualize it now, but I guess it's true. You can see up here by the elevators, there's even some small exhibits remembering the good old days of Keen Cutter. I must say, walking the hallways and looking out the windows of this hotel, I can see why the Phantom likes it here. Did I mention there's a piano bar downstairs? Also, more things to do on a Saturday night. For instance, there's a comedy club nearby called the Looney Bin. And there's also an escape room challenge center for thrill seekers called Entrap. Also, be sure to visit the Mead Street Art Gallery and Coffee Shop. They also have chocolate cakes there and a variety of teas and a fireplace to sit by. And why not stop at the Nifty Nut House for the state's largest selection of candied nuts? And for you hobbyists out there, you may enjoy the Wichita Toy Train Store. And if you're up late after all that, drop by the Donut Hole Donut Shop on Douglas Street. There's a sci-fi club that meets there on Friday nights.
And so the pump house is this one?
Yep.
Feels like the perfect evening.
Yeah, it's a lovely evening here. I'm someone that really enjoys summer evenings. Let's go up these steps, that'll be fun.
Okay.
There's a dinner theater here called Mosley Street Melodrama. It's just half a block north from the hotel. Yes, I would like to come here sometime. Maybe we can have a dinner show here. Looks like coming up is Petey's Playhouse. That one looks kind of nutty. I don't know. We can watch that. I don't know if we should go to that one. That one looks crazy. We'll think about it. Etc.
Oh, that's what that
Breakfast
says.
and lunch.
That's cool. Distillery.
We keep seeing bars we want to go to later. This place is rocking. Let's walk across the street for a minute.
Oh my goodness, we love going to New Lemongrass Taste of Vietnam Cafe in Old Town Marketplace. It's tucked away just around the corner there. If you like faux noodle soup, peanut sauce, and buckwheat noodles, you will love it there. And I have to tell you a story about me. I never had Asian food growing up. My parents didn't like it, I guess. I just never even heard of it. I was almost 20 the first time someone took me to a Chinese restaurant, and I thought it was so awful. I just spit it into a napkin. I guess I wasn't ready. Well, anyways, later in my 20s, I was walking downtown between 10th and Broadway, and this little guy was blocking the sidewalk. He said, hey, you want good food? And I said no. But he grabbed me by the arm of my coat and pulled me up the stairs of this building. And I was telling him I don't like Chinese food. And he said, oh, it's not Chinese food, it's Vietnamese. Anyway, it was this upstairs cafe, almost the size of an apartment. And it was being run by a family. And I was too polite to leave. I didn't know what to do. But I was sitting at this little table and they brought out a sandwich. I'm not kidding. It looked like a Subway sandwich, but it had green onions and cucumbers on a loaf of bread. And I said, oh no. Well, anyway, I started eating it, and it was the best food you can even imagine. And ever since then, I have been a connoisseur of Vietnamese cuisine. Back in my early 20s, I used to come to the Orpheum Theater, which you see here, and watch movie marathons. They used to play old black and white films from the 30s and 40s and 50s. Sci-fi and suspense movies like The Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Invisible Man, Godzilla, and also Humphrey Bogart movies and things like that. Well, one of my favorite memories was a Sherlock Holmes double feature of Dressed to Kill and Terror by Night, starring Basil Rathbone. Now this is one of my all-time favorite places downtown. I love bookstores, especially bookstore cafes. I always feel like I'm Bastion on Neverending Story, disappearing into a good book for hours in a cozy spot. Growing up, my mother's favorite writers were Agatha Christie and also the Narrow Wolf series by Rex Stout. And I imagine that began my own interest in solving dangerous cases by candlelight. Now over here, just to the east of the Orpheum Theater, is the Scottish Rites, R-I-T-E-S Center, a large stone building which almost looks like a fortress for King Arthur. Well, it's actually a temple for an ancient order of advanced Freemasons. And considering how close it is to the Orpheum, I assume there's a tunnel beneath here also. In the background, a couple blocks away, you can also see the apartment building that I used to live in when I was attending the Kansas School of Hairstyling in Old Town. Oh my goodness, that was almost 20 years ago. And I used to walk to school every day, right past here. It only took 10 minutes, and that's how I know the neighborhood so well.
That building is something special.
Yes. This is the Wichita Museum, also known as the Haunted Castle of Wichita.
I see that green roof on the other building. That's interesting, but
It's probably a cell phone company or something. Yeah, let's go for it.
Now, what you are peering at in the distance is none other than the Wichita History Museum. And it's also one of the oldest and most haunted buildings in the city. They say there's a dark figure that's seen standing up on the balconies at night.
There's a ledge! There's a ledge!
Great picnic area.
And we absolutely love this courtyard and fountain area adjacent to the museum and library. And the statues seem to represent scenes from 3 of my favorite children's books. The Secret Garden, which our class read together in 2nd grade. Peter Pan, which cartoon series I watched when I was young. And The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which our teacher read aloud to us in 3rd grade. I'll never forget the final pages of that book when they tumbled out of the wardrobe. One of the great stories of all time.
Yes, just around the corner here is the Wichita Sedgwick Museum, also known as the Haunted Museum of Wichita. And a very scary building, they say there is a ghost inside.
Now this is a very interesting plaque we have here. You see, the large bank building we walked by on our way actually used to be the town library, and it was a gift from the millionaire philanthropist Andrew Carnegie. Also, you see here Mrs. Louise Murdoch,
Shall we?
who was an interior designer from Wichita who planned out the inside of the new building, and they are honored here in this garden. Now, some may believe that one of them is the ghost, but I don't think so. By all accounts, the Wichita Museum haunting involves a mysterious figure who runs down red-carpeted hallways and stands beneath crested vestibules, or sometimes seen atop magnificent staircases. How I admire him. Now, aiding us in our quest today is a map of the museum, showing us the mazes of various rooms and stairwells and elevators leading to the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd floors.
The staircase is gorgeous.
Makes you want to take the stairs.
It's almost worth it. Yes, we might do the stair thing.
Yeah.
Every detail, every light box.
Yes, it's lovely.
I keep explaining to Julianna the importance of using a map during a detective investigation like this. Look, it could get very scary. And we may need to make a quick getaway, in which case we'll need to use the map.
Right, the map says to begin up this way. We have a staircase to follow here.
You're doing just fine. We don't mind.
Wow. There's a beautiful picture of the museum here. This building was erected in 1890. It's almost like a castle you would see in Europe. Here in this mural, you can see the horses and carriage in the front. It's amazing. In fact, in a time before cars, this museum was still standing here. A baby grand piano, a beautiful chandelier. It's like something that the Phantom of the Opera would be on play.
Oh my goodness.
Now, entering this parlor, I think we may have stumbled upon our greatest clue. Look at the reflection in that 4-sided glass case. It looks like a ghost. And look at the mirror next to it. Look at the foggy streaks. That almost looks like a ghost too.
Remarkable antiques. This is like something from Beauty and the Beast.
It is.
candlesticks and the clock.
It's remarkable.
Even the mirror looks like something from a Disney cartoon.
Yes.
You know, I keep telling people, being a detective, it's not about style points. It's not about being adored and being famous. Yes, all that comes with it. But there's a huge amount of danger involved. For instance, what if a ghost appears? What if it cuts down the chandelier and it comes crashing down and we have to jump out of the way at the last second? By the way, this exhibit we're looking at is a collection of silver plates and boxes of silverware that belonged to Wichita aristocrats in the 1890s. And I guess the theory is that the rich people are ghosts now and they want their precious items back. But they're the ones who donated it, so that doesn't make sense. What I think is going on here is too many mirrors. Too many reflections everywhere you turn around. And that's what keeps scaring the night watchman out of his boots. Look at that statue of a Greek woman in the parlor. I wonder if at night that looks like a ghost. You know, this level here would be a good place for a sword fighting in a movie scene like Zorro. Just a suggestion, just a footnote there. Now we ascend another level to the next labyrinth in this maze of mirrors and mysteries and marvels. By the way, this beautiful backlit portrait in the foyer area is a recreation of the Treaty of the Little Arkansas River, signed on October 14, 1865, in which Native Americans handed over the city of Wichita to European Americans. Imagine being here on the new frontier in 1890. Standing at the windows of this castle and staring out over the city. Imagine the invigoration of that moment. People say the back alleys and brick buildings of Old Town feels like being in old London. Maybe that's why the Phantom likes it so much. He pretends he's Sherlock Holmes, working on a great case.
Very interesting. We have old pictures of the Wichita Museum. Over 100 years ago.
Ada Estrada what does that mean? Ada Estrada
Ad astra per aspera, which is the Kansas State motto. Translated from Latin, it means to the stars through difficulties, which indicates the founders of Kansas and, of course, the founders of the United States of America believed not in their own greatness or their own clairvoyance, but sought a higher power to guide them. And in the most difficult of times would turn their eyes towards the heavens. And it's kind of the saying of Kansas now.
Now look at this evidence right here. This is exactly what I've been talking about. The multiple reflections in these glass exhibit cases create an illusion that almost looks like an apparition staring back at you. Could this be the ghost of the Wichita Historical Museum? Well, I'm not sure about that. By all indications, the mysterious man seen dashing around the hallways of this castle is something of a Casanova. He loves standing in magnificently appointed rooms with lush carpeting. Or sometimes he's seen posing beneath beautiful paintings worth millions of dollars. Or sometimes people see him leaning against a banister with perfectly styled hair and wonderful sunglasses. He truly is a man of the night. Now this is the Wichita Cottage exhibit. It's a facsimile of what it would be like
to have had an ordinary home here in the city in the 1890s.
Very interesting. This person was almost like the Frida of Wichita. That's remarkable self-portraits.
There's a picture of the piece of art that she was doing, which is right there. Irma.
You're right, there it is. All these years later. All right, the investigation continues. Must continue on the mission. And the map says to go this way, up to the 4th level. I think this level's gonna be a lot of fun for you. Time for the pedal to the metal. Now, paddle wagons here. These are little buggies that you could get in back in the 1950s and just paddle and take off like you're in a car. It's almost like a Flintstones car. Oh wow! They have a real collection of buggies here. Oh my goodness, there's a fire engine one. Wow, a whole fleet of fire engines. This one has ladders on it. But that one has a little bell. Fancy buggies like in Dick Tracy. These are the kind of little mobsters would drive. For little mobsters to get in.
Yeah.
Right around it. And here's one that could be in the movie Annie. These are great old vehicles. Oh wow. This one's called the Pioneer Flyer. It's like a train engine. And next to it we have one that's ready to go airborne. Some airplanes, and even a little boat one called the Jolly Roger. Oh wow. Mustang convertible. And we have a Cadillac over there too. That's for if you really wanted to ride in style. This is the Telecaster guitar that was used to play the song Have Gun Will Travel, 1960s country western song. That's the guitar that was on it. Look how big that is, wow.
Oh, I could spend all day here, admiring these wonderful exhibits. But our detective work must continue. Right down this hallway, I believe.
There's the Shadowland Dance Club. This is back in the old radio music era.
Yes. Yes. Now showing. Cool. Room.
Hey, let's push the button.
Okay.
And
here in this little theater, we got to watch a presentation about Wichita, the aviation capital of Kansas.
Beautiful musical instruments.
To me, it's so amazing that the first electric guitar was played on stage right here in Wichita. Imagine that moment.
Very great.
Yes. Wonderful instruments.
Now it makes us sad to begin to leave the Wichita Historical Museum. At first, this castle seemed inhibiting, almost daunting to us. But before you knew it, we just felt right at home. Isn't that how it always works?
It's that classic hotel smell.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, we have had a marvelous time here today at the City Museum. But before we go, there's one last room we need to check out. An exhibit with a little bit of extended history about the building itself. Look at the stonework in the corner over here. This is a small glimpse at what the original building would have looked and felt like in 1890. Look at those giant blocks of stone. There's also something spooky about it. And here also is an exhibit describing the fire in 1981 that damaged the building. Apparently, lightning hit the clock tower during a storm and set the fourth-story turrets ablaze. Strangely and by coincidence, this seems like something the Phantom of the Castle would know about. Could it be related to the many unsolved reports around here? Well, all we can report to you is that there was a very nice lady at the front desk who gave us maps to use. And she told us the ghost of the museum is indeed real, because they hear loud noises all the time. And if you rewind the video, the first staircase we went up, you can hear a bang. And on the third flight of stairs we ascended, we heard a clank. It would seem that even after we leave, the caper at the castle shall continue, I'm afraid. And by the way, the Wichita Museum has a great gift shop downstairs with snacks and soda and picnic tables outside. You should bring the whole family. Really, make a day of it.
Feel like running through the fountain? Well, let's go.
How bad is my lipstick? I should have checked. It's so bad.
Well, no, it's okay.
No, it's not.
I'm sure you've noticed the giant water fountain you can run through at Market Square on a hot summer day. Well, just a warning, it's completely random when it sprays water, so watch out. Also back there you can see Todd Bryan's Brick Street Tavern. Great place to go for a club sandwich.
It is. I'll stand over here a little bit, but I don't want to get wet. No, they like to trick you. You never know which one's the water's going to come out of. It's random. That's the danger of it.
I can't begin to tell you how much we love Old Town. During the spring and summer months, we're here almost every weekend. The nights are so warm and the breeze so gentle and drifting. We also enjoy the sounds of live music playing at places like Mort's Martini Bar, Verche's Cocktail Lounge, and Barleycorn's rock venue on Douglas Avenue. We've always been enamored by Old Town's 1920s Art Deco history, seamlessly combining with the laid-back feel of modern-day downtown Wichita.
spacious. It feels like it has everything. It's not over decorated. It's just great. But every decoration is so great. And those butterfly photos.
Juliana was just commenting that although we're in the King Suite, the interior design is so unimposing. It just feels relaxing here.
Well, that could look awfully frightening at night.
Yes, I know what you mean. This looks like somewhere the ghost would hang out.
As it stands, our best theory about the Phantom is that it's a crazy actor from this dinner theater.
Hey, why don't we go down this way now?
Well, we're on our way to dinner now, at a little spot called Playa Azul. This place is kind of our Casablanca. I don't know if I mentioned it, but Juliana and I met here in Old Town and spent some of our first evenings strolling down Mosley and Douglas and Rock Island Road. And I'll never forget one night we were almost going to walk into Revolution nightclub, and instead we saw this little door with neon over it and decided on a whim to come on in out of the rain. And we found ourselves at Playa Azul.
By the way, I'm sharing my guacamole with you. I know that's a personal favorite of yours. And yes, great selection on those street tacos there. One of my favorites is the chili relleno. But I do want you to have. I want you to have at least half of it. And I have a tostada too. I know that's one of your favorites.
It is.
We'll share this evening. I thought about getting the hamburguesa mexicana, but how can you say no to the Mexican dinner?
I'm very happy about this too. I needed this. I'll be honest with you, I needed this. This has been a long day. I needed this food. Sometimes when it has been a monster day, the only thing that solves the problem is Playa Azul. Coming here. When you don't have any brakes in the case, sometimes you gotta come here.
Can you believe this?
Looks like you're all set there.
I guess the surfing's a far much.
It'll be like 3 minutes before you want a refill.
Want and get are two different things, okay?
Well, we hope all of you have been having an enjoyable time on this episode. And I think today's mission has been a great success, with many clues being uncovered, and possibly a new theory we've been working on too. Now, bear with me here. What if the Phantom of the Orpheum, the Phantom of the Museum, and the Phantom of the Hotel are all the same person? What if one mysterious man of the night who wears dark sunglasses has been seen at all these locations? People see him and wonder who he is and think to themselves, he's probably a detective. Well, anyway, that's our theory, our working theory right now. Well, Tom, that sounds like you. What? What are you talking about? Well, Tom, look at the clues you've been leaving behind all the way. Number 1, you said you used to live in Old Town and walk the streets at night. Number 2, you've been going to the Orpheum Theater for years and watching scary movies there. Number 3, you told us you love going to the bookstore and reading mystery novels, which is something the Phantom would do. Number 4, you told us the Phantom loves hamburgers and french fries, and you began the day by ordering a hamburger at brunch. Number 5, you went to the hotel and talked about windows the whole time. You seemed obsessed with the large windows and how you could look out over the city at night, just like the Phantom. That's what you took away from this? That I'm the suspect? There was one more mistake you made, Tom. You left a huge clue. You said that the Phantom is a real Romeo, leaving flowers and such. Well, it seems like this whole weekend has been an excuse for you to pamper your wife and take her shopping. In fact, you spent the whole day walking her around art galleries and beautiful fountains and trying to make her feel like she's the queen of your world and making her know that she's the center of your world. Well, this case is closed. Maybe we'll never find out who the masked man of the night is, or if he's good at planning surprises, but I bet whoever he is, he's a big fan of 1930s and 40s detective noir films. And what I do know is we had a wonderful time this weekend. We hope you did too. Thanks for coming along. Bye for now.